Anglican Church is episcopally led and is synodically governed.
Major responsibility of all these leaders is one, proclamation of the gospel.
The empty cross means that Jesus Christ is no longer hanging on the cross.
What we call church seasons are also called in other ways the church year, liturgical year, or church calendar. All of those point to the same thing.
But because he's the metropolitan, his crozier moves to every diocese, and at any time he can decide to visit a diocese.
The creeds, especially the Nicene Creed, are sufficient statements of faith for this church.
The sacredness of the clerical vestment can be traced back to Aaron and his children.
The importance of effective administration to the development of any organization cannot be overemphasized, and church administration is spiritual service to the body of Christ, which involves the wise stewardship of God's resources for the accomplishment of the work of ministry. Our topic of discourse today is Anglican administrative structure. And with me in the studio is the Dean of the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, the Most Reverend Dr. Buba Ali Lamido. His Grace was ordained priest on 3rd July 1993 and consecrated bishop on the 30th of November 1997. He's the Bishop of Wusasa Diocese Zaria, the Archbishop of Kaduna Ecclesiastical Province, and the current Dean, Church of Nigeria. Your Grace, I'm so honored to have you on this program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Now we're looking at the Anglican administrative structure. And my first question to you is, what are the various levels of administration in the Anglican Church?
When you talk of various levels of administration, we have the Anglican Church led by an Archbishop who is also called the Metropolitan and the Primate of a province. He leads the church. Underneath are bishops, priests, and deacons. Now, with this, you have various structures to help in administration, divided into jurisdictions or areas, you will call. This is having the province of a certain geographical location in the whole world. Like you have the province of Nigeria, the province of Kenya, the province of Uganda, the province of West Africa, United Kingdom, USA. All these are provinces led by primates of the church. Then you have a province like Nigeria, you have with a primate, who is primate of all Nigeria. Then you have also ecclesiastical provinces. In our context, we have 14 ecclesiastical provinces.
That's Church of Nigeria?
That's Church of Nigeria. Okay. And in these provinces, each is headed by an archbishop of the province. And apart from the ecclesiastical provinces, dioceses form the ecclesiastical provinces. So you have a group of dioceses, some 7, 8, number up to 11 to 16, a group of dioceses that form an ecclesiastical province. Then the diocese is one of the structures which is very important and is led by a bishop. The bishop is called bishop, or he's called the diocesan. Whichever is used is referred to as the bishop of the diocese. In a diocese, for administrative purposes, you have structures like archdeaconries, You also have, in some cases, deaneries.
Okay.
Then you have parishes. Then you come down to churches. Then you come down to maybe what people call stations.
Okay.
But in having a diocese with archdeaconry, an archdeaconry is a jurisdiction, a geographical composition of churches.
Okay.
And a very senior priest is appointed an archdeacon. Usually there's a service that is done in making an archdeacon.
Okay.
That is called collation.
Collation.
Then
Okay.
he is installed in an archdeaconry seat. So he administers the jurisdiction on behalf of the bishop, who looks up to him for information for what is happening. He's accountable to the bishop. Then
Before you go further, Your Grace,
Yes.
must an archdeacon be a venerable?
Yes, when you have an archdeacon, the archdeacon is actually the title.
Okay, the title.
And venerable is a kind of a reverence paid to him for that office.
Okay.
So any archdeacon is a venerable,
Okay.
respected priest. That is what it is. Okay. So you have an archdeacon, and underneath you also have deaneries.
Yes.
They could form also a group of churches with a rural deanery. Who is the head? The rural dean leads the deanery.
Okay.
He is also accountable to the archdeacon,
yeah.
as well as the bishop.
Okay.
So anytime the archdeacon wants to convene a meeting, he calls the rural deans, and they call all the priests to deliberate.
Okay.
In some structures of provinces, the deaneries are not emphasized. They will rather go down to parishes.
Okay.
And parishes are a group of churches. There could be 2, 3, 4, with a parish priest who is the chief pastor of those churches. They have their meetings from time to time, and the parish priest administers the parish. Then, of course, you come down to individual churches.
Okay.
Now, the churches form parishes. Parishes form deaneries,
Okay.
or they form archdeaconries.
Okay, that's right.
Yes. So, but when you say a station, it is a convenience term that is used to say that it's a small church. Most of those churches that are called stations are such small that catechists or evangelists, or sometimes they are called agents. Okay. They man such churches under the supervision of the parish priest. So this is how you have the structure of the Anglican provinces.
In Church of Nigeria.
In Church of Nigeria.
Okay.
And in most part of the world.
Okay.
Yes.
I really want our viewers to get this. Can we go over it again? The
Yes.
first is the province.
Yes.
Like the province of Nigeria.
Nigeria, yes.
And then you have the
ecclesiastical
provinces.
Yes.
And then you have the dioceses.
Yes.
And then you have the archdeaconries. The deaneries.
Yes.
The parishes.
Yes.
The churches.
Yes.
And the stations.
The stations.
Wow, beautiful.
Yes.
So, Your Grace, what gave rise to these various levels of structures in the Anglican Church? Why the need for these structures?
The most important thing why these structures exist is to ease administration. The bishop, who is the chief pastor of a diocese, cannot be everywhere.
That's true.
So there are some episcopal duties that the bishop would do, but he has to appoint under this structure to appoint priests who will man in the administration. So he is on top of the administration, while other priests man various structures in the diocese. They are accountable to the bishop, reporting always to the bishop. And when there are issues that they cannot handle, the bishop comes in immediately. So the bishop is the overall leader and supervisor of his diocese, but he uses this structure to help in the administration. So that is why they are needed to ease administration. Of course, the Anglican Church is backed up with Bible, of course, with tradition, and also with reasoning. Traditionally, you have leaders who form a diocese, like the archdeacons, the canons. Some are made canons, which means a standard priest. And then the other priests and the evangelists and catechists, they all form the staff of the diocese. So that is the beauty of the Anglican Church, with a good structure.
Good structure. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Was this in any way borrowed from the story of Moses in the Bible, where his father-in-law Jethro encouraged him to, delegate duties so that there will be the need for division of labor?
Oh, yes, by inference, yes.
Okay.
It is because it gives room for everybody to participate according to his abilities or her own ability. And it gives room also for accountability, because you know who to hold when things go wrong, and when things are good, you also know who is responsible for the goodness of the structure.
Yeah, that's true. So how do they interrelate?
Now, they interrelate in the sense that from the bishop of a diocese down to the catechists
or the
agents in stations, they are all reporting to the bishop. Now, how do they report to the bishop? Every church in a diocese is accountable to the bishop. For example, if you want a policy from a synod of a diocese, by the way, the synod is the general meeting of those who matter in the diocese, representatives of churches in the diocese. Now you want to pass an information, you give the archdeacon the resolution of the synod. Of course, they must be present at the synod. Then it is taken down the line from archdeaconry level down to the churches or stations. So you have this done through these structures. Now, also, if you ask why the need for these structures, you will realize that in the Anglican Church, leadership is very important. So you give leadership responsibility not only to the bishop who is the leader, but also people lead others. So it's like you have someone who is the leader and he has those sub-leaders who are also leading, so that the administration will go down well in a diocese.
Thank you so much, Your Grace.
Thank you.
We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue the discussion.
Thank you.
Viewers, we'll be right back.
Did you know Jesus said, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost"? Did you know ACNN reaches out to all African, European, and Asian countries? Did you know ACNN produces programs that provides Bible-based solutions to your everyday need? Would you consider partnering with us in order to help us reach out to more souls? Then, Become a part of ACNNTV Kingdom Investment Partnership. You can be a monthly or a yearly partner. To subscribe, make your partnership payment into this Zenith Bank account. Account name, Brother Communications Limited. Account number 1013267532. For more details and confirmation of your AKIP subscription, please call +234 703 2656544. You can also reach us via email. Together, we can reach the world with the undiluted Word of God.
You're welcome back, and it's still the Anglican Ambassador. Our focus today is Anglican administrative structure. And I've been in the studio with the Dean Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, the Most Reverend Dr. Buba Ali Lamido. Before the break, His Grace was able to explain to us the various levels of administration in the church, the need for these levels, and how they interrelate. Your Grace, thank you once more.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Grace, I'd like you to throw more light on the various responsibilities of these heads of the levels of administration in the church.
Okay, thank you. Along with the responsibilities of the heads, in a province like province of Nigeria, you have the Archbishop, Metropolitan, and Primate of all Nigeria.
Yes.
He leads the whole church and the bishops. He's an archbishop because the whole country is his see and jurisdiction.
So you can say he's the #1 citizen?
He's #1, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Anglican leader in the diocese.
Okay.
Then you have him as the Metropolitan and Primate of all Nigeria in our context, because he is the one who leads in consecration of bishops,
Okay.
which is his duty. He leads in episcopal synods of bishops,
Okay.
and he leads in general synod.
Okay.
But much more than that, according to the canon laws of our church, he initiates the discipline of any erring bishop.
Okay.
So that is one major responsibility, that he corrects bishops,
Okay.
including clergy and
Okay.
laity.
Okay.
Then you have the diocesan or the bishop in his diocese, who also has a final say in a diocese.
Okay.
Now, he also initiates discipline of clergy,
Okay.
initiates discipline of laity,
Okay.
he ordains clergy,
Okay.
and then he posts clergy
Yeah.
to their churches of responsibility. And you also have the responsibility of an archdeacon, who leads a group of churches with priests. He tells them what to do and what not to do according to the laws of the church, and he leads them also spiritually in a diocese. So if you put all these parish priests, of course priests in churches and agents, you all have everyone doing the his or her responsibility. But major responsibility of all these leaders is one, proclamation of the gospel.
Proclamation of the gospel.
Of the gospel, which is very important. And in proclamation of the gospel, they are usually charged to preach the gospel, to care for the needy. Sometimes they are to search for the needy in parishes and churches and to reach them out with a holistic gospel. When I say holistic gospel, you do not only preach the gospel to them, but you physically, you look for means and ways of helping those people.
Which is part of evangelism.
Which is part of evangelism and the gospel. So the responsibility of all these leaders is huge in the sense that not only proclamation, but they look after the people and take care of the cure for their souls in their various structures. And this is very important in a diocese or in a province such as Nigeria. Yes.
I like the fact you said that the major responsibility is the proclamation of the gospel.
Yes,
that's what's important.
Yes.
Okay, Your Grace, at this point we would like to know what makes the Anglican structure different from other denominations.
Many things make us unique.
Okay.
And different with other denominations. First, it is a structured church in such that it does not belong to an individual. It belongs to God himself. Now, you discover that in a church, for example, a typical church parish, you find the vicar, who is the pastor of that church. Then he has wardens, like the vicar's warden. Then he has people's warden, who is the treasurer of the church. Now, it means that the responsibility of leading the church is vested on the vicar and these people. Now, it's unique because the vicar is not the treasurer. He doesn't keep money, but he is responsible and accountable for all monies that are there. Now, it's not common in some other churches. And the uniqueness we have is what you call episcopal uniqueness. The bishop, the archbishop, the primate of our church has the responsibility of taking care of the whole church. So it is episcopally led such that people don't just get up to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
You have other churches like congregational churches, independent churches, where when they get up and they fire their pastor for trivial issues. In this case, it is not that way. It is the responsibility of the bishop alone to discipline priests when they are erring priests, or the responsibility of the primate to discipline any bishop who is found wanting in doing one thing or the other. Then you also find that it is not a church that you administer anyhow you want. For example, if a bishop dies, the church is not his personal property. Another bishop is appointed. So there's continuity. But you discover in our new generation churches, most of them die with their founders and overseers. Now, in our own case...
And sometimes they turn into family businesses.
Sometimes it's family business. You have the overseer, the general overseer, his wife may be the treasurer, or his child may be consecrated in future to take over the church. That is not an Anglican church. The Anglican church is such a church that is cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan in the sense that it brings all people from different backgrounds, from different areas, and they form Anglican church. So whenever such things happen, we know that the church belongs to God, and it's a communion of our church. It belongs to the church. So that is unique. And in terms of leadership, if you say it is episcopal, the members of the church take instructions and directions from their bishops and from their primate. Where the primate finds that it is suitable for the whole church to follow, we follow him. That is unique. You don't find this in other churches when the leader is saying yes and they are saying no. They are saying this is the way, and they are saying no. It is such a structured, administrative church which has a lot of good qualities that when people follow it, you don't have problems arising from the leadership. So long as people follow these structures very well, it becomes unique and different from other denominations.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Now, Your Grace, is it possible for the primate to discipline a priest under a bishop?
Yes.
Okay.
If you see our church, for example, it is only the primate, because he's metropolitan, he has a crozier, which is double.
Okay.
And it means that that crozier can move to any diocese.
And any parish?
And any, yes.
Okay.
But my crozier for Wusasa diocese cannot go to Zaria diocese.
Oh, it's limited.
Cannot come to Abuja. Okay. It's only within that. But because he's the metropolitan, his crozier moves to every diocese. And at any time, he can decide to visit a diocese, visit, and if there's any erring priest, any erring bishop, he takes the decision by initiating the discipline or correction, whatever you call it, for that priest or diocese. He has right as a metropolitan to move priest to other dioceses. Yes, you may consult with the bishop, but it is his prerogative as the primate of all Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes.
Why a diocesan can discipline any priest?
Any priest, yes.
Him. Okay.
Yes. The diocesan disciplines a priest under him, but not any other priest. Only those under him. Yes.
Okay. I want our viewers to really get this point.
Yes.
The Church of Nigeria, the Anglican Communion, is unique because I want you to reiterate the point.
Okay. It is unique because it has a leadership.
A leadership?
It has a way of, it has a tradition.
Tradition?
Tradition is that you have leader of the church, which must be followed. And it is unique in the sense that when you come to continuity of a church, it begins from our forefathers, probably by ordination in Acts of the Apostles. That's what we call apostolic succession, which started from first generation of Christians in Acts of the Apostles and up to us, the bishops. For example, if you ask me in Nigeria, what is my number as a bishop? I'm the 52nd bishop in Nigeria. So everyone has that. And if you take any paper or program, you see our role from the first to the last by order of consecration. When we are processing in the church, we process according to our days of consecration or based on our preferments. Of course, the vestments, everything makes Anglican Church very unique.
I'm sure our viewers have learnt a lot, and we cannot extensively deal with this topic within the time frame we have. I hope when we invite you again, you would oblige us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for taking out your time to share your knowledge with us.
It's
been very informative and insightful.
Thank
you so much, Your Grace.
Thank you very much.
So viewers, God is honored and believers are encouraged when church affairs are administered well. Therefore, church administrators should be spiritually matured and able to work well with others. Also, they should be able to plan, like His Grace said, organize, delegate, oversee, and evaluate ministry wisely according to biblical principles and goals. Till I bring to you another interesting edition. Stay blessed and bye for now.